So to start us off, I will give you a little introduction to our business, which is Symtrax, and here we are. We are an international based business. We're based in 5 different continents: Los Angeles, Boston, London, Nimes, and Mumbai. We have just over 3,000 customers, and as you can clearly see, we're approved by SAP as a SAP business partner. And the products that SAP, that Symtrax have it's a suite of products, and they're there to complement your SAP system. And the products are known as OMS, or Output Management Systems. So that's a very quick overview of the business. Obviously, it'd be great if you spoke to us afterwards if you have a few more questions. And speaking of questions, you'll see there's a little text box as well at the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions, just pop into that text box and we'll endeavour to answer them for you. So just to start giving you a little bit of a scenario, we'll be showing you today. So I'll be generating a invoice pool. It will be from our SAP system, and then we'll be using our Complay suite of products. These will include something what we have called Complay Layout, Complay Supervisor, and also Complay Archiver as well. Those programs, they all work together, and what they'll do, they will distribute these invoices electronically to internal and external customers and employees as well. Please do note though, invoicing is purely the scenario of the webinar, and this solution can be applied to many other business documents that you have in the business. And without further ado, I'll move on and start generating my first invoice in SAP. So if I get down here we are. I have an invoice sitting waiting in SAP. And what I'm going to do, I'm now going to tell SAP what output device do I want to send this to. So here we are, printers on there. I'll select it first, and then printer default on here, and I use an output device called ST01. And it's important that I hit the print immediately button on here as well. Then just execute this, and then finally all I have to do, top left hand corner, is just press the process button. And once it's processed, as you'll see, there's a dark green on here. So now over to our Complay Layout, and I'll just refresh this at the top, because as you can see down the left hand side, it's all our different output devices. Complay Layout, what it does, it allows you to access as many of your output devices as you wish. Obviously this is fully controllable by yourselves, who can access what output devices. But in this case, for demonstration purposes, I have access to all our output devices here. So I'm going to go down to my output device, which is ST01. And there we're already on it here. And I will just sort these by my dates, and mine's just down there. So 1433, there's the spool just sitting there for me. And I'm just going to put into text mode, so I'll explain about this. So we have a text mode and a graphics mode at the top. This is a standard SAP invoice that's come out. As you see, not necessarily the prettiest thing, but it does what it does, which is an invoice. But at Symtrax and in Complay Layout, we've now added a graphics mode as well. And this is what a graphics mode can do. It makes it look a bit prettier, and obviously this is all to do with graphics mode from your spool that comes from your SAP. When should you use Complay Layout? Well, Layout is designed for 2 reasons. One, it's to make your invoices look a lot nicer and reformat, but not everybody are necessarily interested in prettying up their invoices or their business documents. So if that is the case, what you can do, you can just take advantage of the different run modes that we have inbuilt into Complay Layout, and this I'll show you, which are, they're called they're called the run modes, and I'll be able to show you them in due course. So first of all, I've got my spool here, and I'm going to go and just add a template. I'm going to say no here, and then there's a template that I have designed. I've designed it in Complay Layout, and there it is. So basically we pulled out the SAP data and then put this template on top to make it look a bit nicer. You know, you can get as artistic as you want with this, have lots of different colours, different shapes. But an area where it does save time is with maybe ABAP developers, where you're asking, can we add on maybe an additional logo onto here? So I'll show you, I could add on a quick logo here. If you used Word or Excel before, it's just select the folder and then select the logo on there. And that's it, click OK, and it's added the logo on. Layout is known as a WYSIWYG program, so what you see is what you get at the end as well. So if I was to go and add on a barcode, which is getting bigger these days now, people are starting to use barcodes. I can pop a barcode on here. This is a QR code, barcode I've chosen. And for example, I could say when somebody scans this QR code, I want it to take them to the purchase order. Click OK, and then we got a QR code, and now that's also attached to the purchase order for this particular document. Great if you find it easier to quickly scan your documents with barcode readers and then pull up all the information. So as I move down here, again you can see we've got a few more barcodes in here. We have something called a repeating zone. So if I had multiple invoices, which is very likely, you could have hundreds, thousands of invoices that you need to process. Well, we use this area here, and it's called a repeating zone. And whenever, say, this item number is found, our system will put a barcode against this. We're going to go into a bit more detail, actually, just about how we would deal with batch invoicing or lots of different documents. So I'm just going to close my screen here. So as I was saying, just to show you how this would work, if you've got multiple documents, what we have is these run modes here. I have a little button up here called conditions, and all I'm going to say is, okay, this condition, whenever you see a new purchase order number, what I want you to do is start the whole process again. So as soon as our system sees the next purchase order number, it'll add a new template on, and then it'll add all the variables into it as well. So that's how we would deal with multiple invoices or multiple documents that need to be distributed out. And again, just to repeat that, our system will look for the next purchase order number and then start the whole process again. So let's cancel that down. So I was just talking about variables. So I'm going to just talk about these a little bit. I'm going to go back to my original view, and on here you see these red boxes. These are variables. This is an invoice number. That invoice number is always going to change, so it's a variable number. And again, it's the same for customer number on here. The customer number, it's likely to change, unless it's a different customer. And it's just a way of telling the system, right, this will always change on here, with each different invoice that comes through. And then you have these green zones, and these are actually text zones, where if I wanted, I could add additional text onto my final view here, as well as hide information by using something what we call erasing zones on there. And there's my erasing zone, and then you have your text zones on here as well. So just talk about a few of the clever variables that we have. So here's one here, and this is a query variable. And I'll be going into a little bit more detail with this in a few moments. What this is doing is we've designed this query variable where it will go off and it will query another database, in this case for the correct email address attached to this customer. And this query variable is actually attached to our SAP system, and what it does, it goes through and it finds the correct email address in there. And of course, if there is no email address, it won't be added on. However, if your customer now decides that they would like to have their documents invoiced to them, well, I'll be showing you how you can go back into your SAP system and attach an email address for this particular customer on here. So if I carry on just with my run modes on here, areas that you do get asked for is we need to add on an additional page, maybe terms and conditions, or maybe even a happy Christmas document to all our customers and all our employees, saying thank you very much for your custom this year. And you want to send that out to all your employees and all your customers. So we have this little area up here. If you click on it and then click this little add button, and what this will do, again, a bit like Word or Excel or any of those type systems, just go search for the document and just attach it. And when this is distributed out, this page will then be attached to this particular document, which is in this case the invoice. So I'll cancel them down. Something that's always very important, and that is full traceability. So I am in the next task going to be showing you something called properties. So the properties in here, what we can say is when it goes out in a PDF document, the customer could right click on it and say display properties, and what you could have in there is things like who generated this invoice, what date was it generated on, what's the title of it. All this, no one can mess around with it at all. It keeps it nice and secure. It's in a PDF document. And just to show you that this is, of course, a live demonstration, what I might do is I'll put in my username on here, and then I'll put in maybe today's date on here, which is the 11th of the 7th, and it's 1442, depending on where you're watching it from on there. So when I get my PDF, I'll be able to go to the properties and I'll be able to see my name, which is the username, using that variable there, which is called request for the owner's name variable, plus then the date and time as well on there. Click OK and click my little save button at the top on there. So we were talking about the variables and adding in email addresses. So here's my query variable on there. So now I want that to be populated with an email address when it's sent out to the client. So I'm going to go back into my SAP system down here. What I'm going to do is go to another area in my SAP. I've actually kept it in my favorites on here. Double click here. There's that customer 1901. That's great. I will now go through and access their account. Pop over to contact person or contact people. And all you have to do is double click on here, scroll down, and simply at the bottom in your SAP system, you then have an email address. I'll put mine in here because it makes more sense on there. Symtrax. And as you saw, there was no email there previously. And when I do send this out, my email address will all of a sudden now appear on that invoice using what we call a query variable. And this is just one very basic example of query variables that can be dealt with in the Compare suite of products. So I'm just going to come up here and save this. And for me, that's all done on there now. There's very little more for me to have to do on there. Except for go back to my layout now and just highlight our run modes. So it's going to go to my run modes. Now I have three processes in here. First of all, I have a process called upload to SAP. So we have a little product. So it's in between layout and SAP. We use these connectors, BC-XOM connectors. They're all certified by SAP, the best connectors you can use. And what this will do, when I run this template, it will actually write this template or this invoice back into SAP against the correct customer as an attachment in a PDF document. I mean, this is great if you ever want to see what was sent out to a customer, what did they receive, what did it look like. It's there for life, you know, nothing gets deleted. You can do that all from your SAP system, so it gives lots of people a lot of access to be able to go and see what was sent out. So that's our upload to SAP feature. Next part is email. Well, everybody's using emails these days. It saves lots on your postage, and it makes this whole process seamless. It makes it a lot faster. At one click of a button, which you will see, the whole process is then automated. There's nothing more you need to do. So you can have your own body of text down here. And as you can see, it comes in HTML or text, so there is no sort of text look. Not great. HTML, it's great having an HTML because you can do things such as attach little logos at the bottom of all your emails that you send out. So again, it's click the image button, open the folder, we'll just choose that one there, click OK, and now when I send this out, you'll see the little advert just at the bottom, all of the information about the business. It's all that quick and simple to be able to use this system and just fly around it, change it, edit it, and make it a bit more personable and a bit more standardized to your business. So I'll click OK again on there, so that part's now completed as well. And then importantly is our archiver. So we have a product, it's called Complain Archiver, and what will happen is this invoice will then go off to Archiver and it'll be stored in Archiver. And the reason for this is in businesses, instead of, well, it's maybe, shall I say, more generally for people that need to access documents externally, and they're not SAP business, non-SAP users, so you don't want to go getting licenses for these customers or users. Instead, our archiver, what it does, it just allows them to have a little link externally as well, so all security is all kept safe. Your SAP is kept away from the real world, and it's stored in our secure archiver, where your customers then can click on a little link which I'll be showing you, it's a URL, and they'll be able to view securely their invoice in this case. But for yourselves as a business, you can use Archiver as a facility to obviously archive your documents first of all, but with all the documents you have stored in the archiver, you need to be able to retrieve them within seconds. So customers on the phone, you can go into our archiver, you could type in maybe this variable here, which is in fact the customer number, or put in the customer's purchase order number, as well, even the total. Whatever way you prefer to search, Archiver will allow you to search by those means, all using, again, variables that's in the spool, and that's what we're using on here. Again, I'm going to go into Archiver in a little bit more detail, but importantly, you'll see this box here, it's actually ticked. That means the document will be published and viewable from any web browser. Again, I will explain the security behind how we publish our documents as well. So that's all I need to do on here. That's all fine. So we've done our SAP part, so I'm showing you in SAP how you can attach an email. And I've also gone through Compare layout as well, explained all the slightly different features in there and different conditions and the variables that can be used. So that's all that's left for me, is maybe just to go back to my SAP system, which is down here, and go back into it. There we are, there's my SAP. And what I'll do, I'm going to generate another invoice using my T code on here, which is BF31. And whilst we generate this invoice, I will go through our other product, which is called Supervisor. And without Supervisor, the automation process just wouldn't happen in the system at all. So there's my billing customer there. Click on here and select the invoice I want to send, and I want to use my printer default again, and it's going to be TO1. Excellent. So that's all done. Chosen my output. So just to talk to you now just about our Supervisor product. As at the moment, as you'll see, it's got a little pause sign here. So Supervisor, what it does, it supervises all your output devices that you have across your network, across your business, and you can tell it to do things. So when something comes into STO1, which in this case is going to be an invoice, what I can do is show you what can happen. So it receives a spool, and in that spool it contains the word invoice, and Supervisor will obviously pick up this word invoice, and it knows it needs to attach this particular layout that I showed you earlier, which was the purple layout, and that's the destination of that layout. So it's such a simple process. The spool comes in, Supervisor watching that output device, it sees it's an invoice, and it attaches this nice template, and then from the template, which is from Compare layout, what it does, it goes for all those different run modes, which is archiving, uploading to SAP, and emailing, and that's all you need to do on there. So, I mean, that's a very quick idea what our supervisor can do. It can supervise multiple output devices. It could do it by client's name. So if you have a special document you send to a particular client, or when it sees that client's name, I know we say Sports Direct, what it will do, it will attach maybe a different type of look or layout, or even use one of our products that we have, or it might even upload it then into SharePoint as well. So it's a great little product, this Supervisor, and it's what automates the whole process. And my next part is in fact just to activate our Supervisor here. You can see it's all gone green now. This is all up and running on here. You see red means it's not started, so it's all color coded for ease of use. So green, yep, it's all ready to go on there. Excellent. There we are. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my SAP on here, and I'm now going to execute this invoice. So again, this will go dark green. So that's all done now. If I go to my Supervisor, there it is. There's that spool that I've sent over now from SAP. The condition that I had set in Supervisor will actually be looking through that spool, looking for anything that says invoice, and when it finds that word invoice, it's going to attach a template, and that template is the template that I was showing you earlier, which is the purple template. And what it will also do from there is it will then email myself, and I'll be able to explain to you the security processes of that as well. So, and that will then lead us into our next product, which is then called Archiver. And obviously I've given a little overview of Archiver. So here it is. Here's our email that's come through. Let me come and open this up now. So here we are. This is my PDF attachment. And hey presto, there's my email address that you can clearly see on there as well. So that was when I went back into SAP and entered in the email address on there. That query variable has then gone off and picked up that email address. At the bottom, what we can see is we've got my signature on the bottom as well, and then the logo that I'd added on up here. And if I click on here, there it is. There's the variable, which then pulled through my username, which is S Tilbury, and then together with the date and time on there as well. Again, that's all about traceability on there. That's why it's in there for. So that's what the PDF document looks like. This is what the customer would then receive on here. And then our important part is, in fact, this little link here. What this link will do is it goes to our Archiver system and says, I need a secure code for sending this to the user. We use something called a GUID, which is a global unique identifying number. No one can mess around with it. And there it is on the end. You can see the GUID. What it means is whoever receives this, only they can open it. So it's extremely secure on there. And just to show you, if anyone tries to tamper with any of the letters on there, we put an A instead of a B. What it does, it just says this. So there's no way of tampering with that at all. And that's just to show you the security of it. And again, just to explain, the Archiver system is very much used for non-SAP businesses or users, and it's actually an alternative, if you have heard of it, which is called SAP DMS. SAP DMS, so ours is an alternative compared to Archiver. However, using SAP DMS, you're going to have to open up your SAP system to allow people to access this type of information. And that can cause, obviously, security vulnerabilities, opening up all your SAP systems. So using a product like Compare Archiver, without using any of the Symtrax products which are external to your SAP system, it means all the security, you're not opening up your SAP system to possible attacks from people who are on the web. And our system will also take away a lot of the processing power. So instead of SAP trying to churn up all these different types of documents. Why not just give our system complete layout, that processing, because again it's all external as well, so allow your ERP or your SAP system to get on with its everyday chores. So all I'm going to do now is just go into our archiver. Here it is. Click on my archiver on that. I'll just refresh it, and if I go down, go into this area here. So these are all different ways I can search for as well. Invoice number, I can put in customer number, invoice totals. Again, as I said, it's configurable by yourselves on how you prefer to search your documents. Click search. That's great. It's up there, 1552. This server is on a French server, so it's 1 hour ahead, but I promise you it's the correct one. Click on there. What it'll do, it'll open it up again, this PDF document that we sent over. Exactly the same. There's my email address on there. If I right click and then document properties, there it is. Anyone wants to see who generated this, at what time, what date? Well, there we are. It's all in there for them to view. No one can delete, edit, manipulate that information on here. So there we are. That's our archiver. It can search through millions of documents in seconds when you're doing searches as well. It can hold multiple types of file formats as well, not just PDFs. Anything to make your business process a lot faster. It's there for, well, it's there to help you. So just to finish this all off, the extra part we have added on here now is actually a way to go and see the invoice now reattached to the customer's account, but in the SAP system. So here we are. I'm going to go and just do this part now. Go to the customer record on here, and then it will just ask you for your customer number that you want to go to. I mean, this part's very unique, that you're able then to go back and actually view attachments that you've sent out and reattach documents to accounts, all within the SAP system. So go through to this particular customer here. What it'll give me is a little attachment area just at the top, and if I just go and click on here in a sec, it'll give me my attachment list. There it is, and it will take me through, and you'll see all different attachments in there that you've been sending to this customer. There it is up there. Done a few today I've been testing on, and then load this up, and again this will open up in a PDF document on there as well. And as you see, you've got plenty of different views all the way down here as well that you're able to see. So that's how it then reattaches the PDF document back against that customer account. So it's a very nice little feature to have, very handy if you ever need to go and look back at this. So that's it now. So I've gone through a fair amount of detail, how you can generate your invoices in your SAP system, get them picked up by our compliant product called Layout, actually reformat it and make it look a bit nicer as well if you wish, and then distribute it in different ways. So we sent it off in an email in a secure PDF document. We then archived it. They received an email which had the attachment, which is a PDF, but also had a URL on there which they could click on and go and view it as well, and then writing it then back into our SAP system as well, where anyone can always go back in and just go and have a look and see what document was then sent out to that particular customer on there. And just to finish this off, I'll just go back to here. So a few benefits of using our products here. So at the top you got here is quick, it's fast and quick, it's very simple to access all your outputs, output devices, just using Layout, even Supervisor, very easy to access them. Again, all using our connectors, which are all SAP approved. Very simple, just to go in and generate and modify the look of all your spools as well. Very secure. We use our GUID codes, as I explained, against all our emails, so when they click on that URL, it's a very secure way of them accessing and viewing their invoices. Fully traceable. As you saw in the PDF, I had my username, the date and the date and time on there. Again, traces it back to who generated it. It does save a lot of time on here, because all I had to do was just go into my SAP system, start the invoice pool, and then that was it. That's all you have to do from at all just to get this fully working for yourselves. As we carry on down, then it's always going to be very time saving. Users, customers, employees, they can just go and view their documents instantly from any web browser as well, so it's very quick for them to use. And again, distribution, PDFs, Word, email, whatever suits your business on there. But importantly, batch invoicing in this case, or multiple documents. It can handle thousands of different documents, and using those conditions that I showed you, when it sees a new PO number, it then starts the process again. And then finally the write back as well, so it'll write back straight into your SAP system. So that is it. As far as the software is concerned, there's a few other parts in here just to point out to you. So all our products, you can download them. They all come with 10-day free trials. Test it out for yourself. They're fully supported, so give us a little call. There's our details here. You can call us up. We can help you. Make sure you download the right product. We'll even do a proof of concept for you, show you how it would actually work in your business as well. And if you just pop over to our website as well, sign up, log in for nothing, and what you'll see is you can search for white papers, download all your different white papers as well. You can see how the complete suite of products has helped other businesses, become more efficient in the way that they work, and save them money, save them lots of time as well. And up here you can see I can click on free trial, and just allows you then to download the products and test out for yourself. I said you can give us a little call anytime if you get stuck or you need a little bit of help. All the products come with installation guides, user guides as well, and all the videos and all the webinars that we've done are also available on here. Just type in webinar and it will take you off, or if you have a subject that you like to watch, type in webinar, type in a subject, and I'm sure it will be there for you to be able to go in and have a little look at as well. So got any questions? So that is basically the end. So thank you very much for your time today as well. But I did have a few questions as well, so I've got a few questions just to answer. So we'll be passing over to Florina, and she'll be able to certainly help me answer any questions that have come through on here. So I'll just make sure Florina can hear us on here. Can we hear you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Now.
There we are. Thank you, Florina.
Yes.
It wasn't
Sorry.
my fault. Excellent. So a couple of questions. What we have is how do we connect to SAP from our products?
We have a few available connectors from SAP, but the most used one would be Active Connector. We just install a few functions that will allow us to access any files that have been printed on SAP printers.
Okay, thank you very much. And also had what sort of database does Archiver use?
Archiver is installed on Microsoft SQL database.
Okay, thank you. And next one we've got another one, quite interesting one. So, how are we able to write back into SAP? Well, how comes we're able to then send information back to SAP?
This is another type of connector that's an uploader, so it sends back information into SAP through a few functions that SAP allowed us to use for us to create attachments.
Okay, thank you very much. As far as hardware or software is concerned, server base, any recommendations from ourselves?
What we need is just a minimum Windows server with 1 gigabyte available of RAM, a .NET version of at least 4, and anything else is just nothing special, just what we usually use.
Okay, thank you. I just had another one come through as well, which is which SAP version are you compatible with?
We are compatible with SAP version 6, ECC 6.
Okay,
The functions are starting with that version.
that's great. Thank you very much. And someone did put in an average price as well for the solution. Unlike SAP, won't cost you hundreds of thousands. You'd be looking around about the 12,000 mark. That would be in Great British pounds. So I mean, it's very low value compared to what you actually get from it as well, especially in terms of, I suppose, time saving and efficiency. So, and give us a call obviously any time, and we'll be able to work out also a return on investment for you as well for the product. Was there any other questions at all from anybody? Haven't got any more now. I'll stand the line for a couple more minutes if anyone does have a question. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming along to our webinar today. And I said it will be recorded and it'll be online if you wish to watch it and go through it again. Otherwise, if you have any maybe more technical questions, just give us a quick call or give your account manager a call as well, and we can discuss the solution that you saw today as well. So thank you very much.